and the drugs that we absolutely need to know if we're going to work in a hospital, and I don't care if you work in dietary. Okay, ready? Penicillin G. Everybody has to know what penicillin G is. All right, another thing that you need to know, and by the way, I have the names of the drugs. The generic is there, but if I have square brackets, I'm also providing the trade names of the drugs. So let's take a look at another one called Augmentin. Do you see it's called amoxicillin plus Clavamox? The reason why it's called Augmentin, it's augmented amoxicillin. So amoxicillin plus Clavamox equals Augmentin. So especially in the dental profession, you're going to see amoxicillin or Augmentin. They're both pretty similar. Next, I want you to skip down to, do you see piperacillin and tazobactam? Do you see those? Mm-hmm. Piperacillin and tazobactam combined make a new drug called Zosyn. So these penicillins, piperacillin, amoxicillin, penicillin, Augmentin, Zosyn, these are very, very important because we use these all the time. You're expected to know what families of drugs these are. All right, so let's talk about them. So now you know which ones you need to know. Let's talk about them in a little bit more detail. You see, penicillins have what's called a beta-lactam ring. You see that beta-lactam ring? It's a square ring, I know, it's odd. It's a cyclic compound. You see this square right here? All right? And if we just take a very, very quick organic chemistry class, how many have had OChem already? Okay, remember MEPV? No, not MEPV, yeah. Methane, ethane, propane, butane. Let's take butane and let's do this to it. Instead of going like this, one, okay, that's going to be a linear butane. Let's go ahead and use what's called cyclobutane, right? Let's go ahead and take butane and go like this, 1, 2, 3, and 4 of them. Oh, look, let's bend that into a square. There's a little problem when you bend that into a square. What happens, it wants to spring open again, correct? That's why cyclopropane or cyclobutane, MEP. Yeah, that'd be 3, okay. Butane is flammable because these rings are all unstable. So do you see how this is inherently unstable? Bent into a square? Because there are certain angles here that are appropriate, and this 90-degree angle is not appropriate. You see these squares right here? Inherently unstable. These are easily ruptured. They're easily ruptured by osmotic pressure. Too much salt or too little salt. At either a hypertonic or hypotonic environment, these things will rupture, and that's going to lose the integrity of cell wall. So this is called a beta-lactam ring. And so, by the way, if you look at your study guide, you'll notice that there are penicillins and cephalosporins in group 1A. Do you see that? Because these are all called beta-lactam cell wall inhibitors. These are cell wall inhibitors that indeed have a beta-lactam ring, just like the one you see up there on the screen. The next thing I want to do is I want to talk about some more beta-lactam cell wall inhibitors. Do you have your highlighter, right? Other beta-lactam cell wall inhibitors are called the cephalosporins. Sometimes the reason why you give somebody a cephalosporin might be if you're allergic to penicillins. But the way that I've been trained is that if somebody's allergic to penicillin, I'm not going to take my chances with a cephalosporin either. I'm going to move to a different drug. But nevertheless, let's talk about another group of beta-lactam cell wall inhibitors called cephalosporins, and the 3 that I really want you to